Alright, welcome back to part 2 of our rocket tutorial. Part 2, what we're going to be doing is adding a texture to the rocket, and we're going to add in a plane behind the rocket, which will be our sky. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is right click on the rocket. You want to make sure that your engine is not selected. Okay, so make sure just the rocket is selected. And we're going to go over here to Materials, click New, and then go to Diffuse and just go ahead and you can pick a material. And then we will click on Texture, and we're going to click New. And under Type, we are going to change it to Image or Movie. And we can go ahead and change the texture name to Rocket, since that is what we are texturing. And then down under Image, you're going to go to Open. And if you're in my class, you're going to go to the 506, the Blender folder, and there will be a folder called Blender Textures. And inside, this is basically the folder that we're going to be looking in, and I just happen to have it open here so you can see the different choices that are in here. Basically what these textures are, they're PNGs, and they're 256 by 256 pixels. So you could go into the GIMP or Photoshop and you could create your own texture if you wanted to. Also, there's lots of resources. If you just go to Google and type in like textures, there'll be a bunch out there that you can use. So this is just a folder that I've set aside for my class. So 506, Blender folder, and then the Blender Textures folder. Go ahead and pick one, and then click Open Image, and you'll see a preview here. And basically, that's what you need to do to get it on there. And then down here, we're on solid. So if we need to change it to textured, and I get this question a lot when we change it to textured here. Sometimes students will be like, well, where is my fin? Well, basically it's still there. It just depends on the lighting around your rocket, so don't worry about that. Okay, go ahead and press F12, and when you do that, you should see that your texture is there in the render. Okay, and you want to make sure once again that you're on textured, and that'll show the texture that you have just put in. And F12 renders, F12 will show you what it looks like. And if you don't like it, you can always click on the folder and you could pick something else, and you could preview it here, hit F12, see what it looks like. Okay, so first step is getting a texture that you like on your rocket. Okay, once you have that, you're going to add in a plane. So go to Add Mesh and select Plane, and you want to use Rotate here. You want to use that, and basically if you hit 0 on your number pad, you want to see that the plane is behind your rocket. It's going to be like a background, which will be basically what we're going to do is animate it and put cloud textures on it. Okay, so once you have your plane in and it's rotated, hit S, and you want to scale it up, and you want to make it about the size of the grid. We can always adjust it later, and just drag it in. And once again, if you want to check it with your camera view 0, you want to make sure that it's, see down here I have a little gap in there, so I'm going to bring it down so that the camera is covering it. Alright, so once you have your plane in there, make sure it's selected. You're going to go over to Material and click New, and let's go ahead and name this material Cloud. And I've got my number lock on my keyboard, so I will try that again. There we go. And we want to, under Shading, check Shadeless. Then we'll go into texture and click new and name this texture cloud. And under type we're going to leave it on clouds because that's what we want. And then let's go under colors here, check ramp, and we're going to click add, and then you're going to click right here and we're going to bring the alpha up to 1, and we know that clouds are blue, so we are going to give it a blue color. And also right here where it says RGB to multiply, let's set R or red to 0, and let's also set green to 0. And you can see the preview up here, so if you use this slider by left clicking and dragging, you can adjust the color of the clouds, and if you press F12, you can get a preview of what those clouds are starting to look like. We're not done yet though. We can always come back and adjust this slider some more. I'm just going to minimize it for right now. Under clouds, let's go ahead and check color. And then under size and depth, we're going to be changing these. These are used to scale the noise, which is what creates the clouds. So let's move the size to 0.15. You can see it changing up here. And then the depth we're going to change to 6. And once we do that, we can hit F12 again, and you can kind of see more of white clouds, more blue around it. Looks a little bit more realistic than it did before. And just one more option that you can do. You don't have to do this. Right now we have a nice blue sky with white clouds. What you can do under influence here is you can change the blend to multiply, check RGB to intensity, and then if you change this color to maybe like a purple and hit F12 again, it'll change your sky to more of an ominous, kind of evil looking dark sky. So just an option if you want to. If you like the blue with the white, you can just uncheck that RGB to intensity, and you can leave it like that. So it's up to you. But once you have that done, just go to File, Save if you're in my class, and you're done with Part 2.